Well, they were definitely world-renowned, and I thought, if I'm really going to learn meditation, I want to learn from the best. And I'd also loved Deepak my whole life. Like, I remember first reading 7 Spiritual Laws of Success and of yoga, and thinking, this man is a genius. So the ability to study with him personally, but also under the umbrella of the Chopra Center, where they have such an amazing team. And there are about 300 people there from 70 countries. So it was just such a miraculous experience, because I mean, you're studying with the best of the best in the world, but also you're studying with such an amazing array of people. So it's definitely impacted me. For one thing, I do attribute yoga, meditation, and of course acupuncture, all the healthy practices, to the fact that I've survived breast cancer and I'm 14 years out, thriving and doing great. So I definitely feel that that's a part of it. And that practice of the cascade effect that meditation has on your immune system and your sleep, your anxiety levels, all of that. But as far as presence goes, I think that how I know it's working is the feedback I get from everyone around me. So it would be from my daughter, my colleagues at work, my friends, who just say, you're a better listener. I feel like, you know, you're really with me. I think that so much of our suffering comes from ourselves. And I think that it starts with us, and then that cascades and ripples out into the world. And I believe that the number one cause of suffering is that we don't feel we're worthy or good enough. And when we don't feel that love for ourselves and that worthiness, we don't show up in the best way that we can in the world. And if all of us are not coming there in our best places, I feel that's where we have aggregate suffering. You know. Happiness is an inside job. And I didn't create that. I think there's a book that's called that or whatever. But those are really words that I think we need to live by, because when we attach the feeling of worthiness we have for ourselves to something, so if it's a certain job, a house, a car, a person, a relationship, we set ourselves up for so much suffering, because happiness comes from here, inside. And if we can find that stability and that feeling on the inside, it won't matter about the chaos that's going on in the world. You know, the other thing about it too is that when we attach to all those external things, well, just by nature, they come and go. They're not permanent. Nothing is except consciousness. So even now, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. Through mindfulness and meditation, we wake up, right? We wake up to the fact that we are not our thoughts. We are not our bodies, right? So we wake up to something bigger, a bigger picture, and that is consciousness. And consciousness is where we're all connected at the one source, at some place. And so I think that we come here into the world and perfectly loved, all of that, and we forget. and things happen. Sometimes it could be people are abused, right? You go through traumas, experiences, you have very critical parents. I mean, there are many, many things that can happen. But something happens where we forget that the reason we're here is love and joy. More love, more joy. That's the only thing that brings the light to the places that are darker, like the despair, the depression, the anxiety, the suffering. And I also think a lot of that goes back to disease and why we're seeing such an increase in cancer, suicide, anxiety, depression. All of these things, in a way, are mirrors to what's going on in our society, right? Where we have so much that's driven by fear and anxiety.